I've got my grandmother's flat iron here. Well, actually, it's my great-grandmother's flat iron. It's a number 8. It's a number 8 precisionally weighted flat iron. And according to my grandmother, it was made here at 72 Eccleston Street. This building represents the end of flat iron making in Prescot. They don't make them anymore. You'd be lucky to find one of these flat irons anywhere. So I'm starting a new series about flat iron making, and this building's part in the flat irons. Obviously, it's not about flat iron making at all. Oh, what time is it? Oh yes, it's flat iron time. It's called the Flat Iron Building because of its peculiar shape, like the one in New York. There's a few of these around the country, but this is one of the few iconic buildings in Prescot, other than St Mary's Church. St Mary's Church is very iconic. This is the other one, and we're so pleased to have it. It's actually the very last watch factory virtually intact in Prescot. The other one, which is down Albany Road, part of the Lancashire Watch Company, and they were built at the same time. This was built in about 1890. That was built in about 1890. The company formed in 1888, and they started trading about 1890. This was used, it's got a red plaque on the side saying it's basically used as a storeroom for the Lancashire Watch Company, and inside was a safe which kept all the gold bars and the silver bars and the jewels that were used for making watches. So as well as having a safe inside the building, it also had bars on the windows. I remember them as a kid. They're not there anymore. It looked a bit like a prison. So it was used as a storeroom, but it was more than that. It was also a factory. And today we've been invited by the current owners of the Flat Iron Building, Ron and Cheryl, his daughter, Musker, and they've invited us to have a look round. Oh, hello. How are you doing? One of the most iconic buildings in Prescot, and we're really privileged to have a look round. Yes, Ron, it's good to see you. Perhaps you could talk a bit about the refurbishments that you've been doing.
We decided to do it nearly 4 years ago now.
Yes.
It was my son. And I've been interested in clocks and watches, as you know, for many years. And I got the chance to buy what they call a time ball, which is now on top of the building. I bought it from a museum, a private museum.
Right.
There's one on the Thames, there was one on the Mersey at the six-sided clock tower that's still there.
So this time ball is a kind of like it drops. It's a bit like the Greenwich.
It's the same as the Greenwich.
Ah, right.
These people, this gentleman who's doing it, by the way, his name is Jim Arnfield, and Phil is a steeplejack, or was a steeplejack, and a turret clock expert. He looks after the church clock, and we're very lucky to have them actually, because if they weren't interested in doing this for the kids and for the local schools and we couldn't afford to have it done. There was no way, because you're talking hundreds of thousands of pounds. Simple as that, no doubt about it. However, the ball will climb the pole at 3 minutes to 1 every day, and at spot on 1 o'clock it will drop. Okay. The gentleman who's done all the clock, which at a later date you'll see it in position. It's no good me trying to explain it to you because I don't understand half of it anyway. But it will be one of the most accurate clocks. It's 200 and odd years old, made in Atherton Street for the Gladstone family, whose son later became Prime Minister.
Right.
So he his wife didn't want to travel into Liverpool on a Sunday, so he built her a church. And in the early 60s, it was knocked down to improve the Dock Road.
Oh, right.
And Phil, who's working on it with Jim, this is all to Jim's design, by the way, who's working on it, his father bought it out of the church when the church was demolished.
Right.
And because what we're doing, and it was made in Atherton Street, he sold it to me.
Right.
And it's the only signed Prescot turret clock we know of.
Oh, right.
So it's going to be so interesting.
Is the mechanism, I know I've seen a photo of this mechanism.
All original.
So this is going to sit here,
This will sit
more or
here.
less in this space.
And this will be 10 or 12 foot high.
Right.
When it's in. Jim's designed all the stand that it will be in. It'll have a television camera, the kids will be able to press a button and you can see how it works. All the levers underneath will be powder coated in different colours.
Fascinating.
It will be when it's done.
Yeah.
It's never been done before. This, what he's doing here has never been done.
So it's really innovative clockmaking happening now in Prescot, isn't it?
Yeah,
It's
Jim-
carrying on that tradition of...
Jim has invented 3 different escapements for clocks.
Wow.
He made a clock for the Queen that's in Sandringham.
Yeah.
And it works by light. He led the team from the Horological Society. So I can't stress how lucky we are to have that man. He's 86, by the way.
Wow.
It's just unbelievable.
That's incredible. And this is part of the mechanism as well, this wire coming down here?
Well, that will
Because I
be-
noticed you're measuring it,
Yeah.
didn't I, when it...
Well, we measured him for all the stand will go in here.
Right.
And like I say, it will all be powder coated and
Yeah.
pop rivet, and then it'll all be covered
Right.
in like a clear plastic. It's not plastic because it stays, but it'll be a bulletproof type thing for health and safety. And
Fascinating.
when it's finished, it will be absolutely amazing. You want to go downstairs first?
Yeah, come on, let's... you show the way. This is fascinating. Oh. We'll just have a pause here because, you know, there are times when you just come in contact with the past as it was, and this little place here was basically a coal hole. The wagons would drop off the coal and they'd fill it up. That's brilliant. Original stones on the floor?
Yeah.
So, this room would have been what? Do you know what room this would have been used for?
Well, we used it. I bought the place in '78 when it was derelict. Nobody wanted to know. Knowsley Council, nobody wanted it. Nobody was interested.
Yeah.
They actually were charging miners' lamps in here and selling cable, and it belonged to Casey Builders of St Helens, Joe and Trevor Casey.
Yeah.
2 very clever men, local men and gentlemen. They were great to me. I was a lot younger than them in them days. They were very good to me. Anyway, I bought it off them, and I completely did it. Roof, doors, everything with 2 of my pals.
Yeah.
No grants, not a penny anywhere.
So this was, it's got a plaque on the side saying it was a storage room for the watch factory. Was it?
The whole thing.
The whole thing was a
But
storage room?
it was at one stage, but later it became the Corker Mechanism Company, and they made handmade watches.
Yes.
We found watches, which I've got photographs of, and watch parts in between the floorboards.
Amazing.
Right? With,
Yeah.
30 years.
So you took it over in 1978
Yeah.
and it became top quality seconds, because I remember that shop was here for a long time. And I think a lot of Prescotians will remember that shop. Yeah.
Yeah. 175, 80 years ago, 80% of the watches in the world started life in this town.
Yes.
And the outworkers from as far as Wigan, Ormskirk, St Helens, Bold, Cronton,
Yeah.
the amount of stuff that was made is frightening.
Well, I know, do you know since time I met you, because I have met Ron and Cheryl before, by the way, in case you think I'm just... I have met them before, and Ron, I went up to his office, he showed me his collection of watches and stuff, and absolutely fabulous. I was blown away with them, but I did a lot of reading since then, because I knew nothing about watchmaking, and I found out that over 2 million watches were made in Prescot. Over 2 million.
That's probably conservative.
Yeah, that's probably a conservative. And I know that here they were making something like 80,000 watches a year towards the end of the watchmaking era, I suppose it was. So, you know, a hell of a lot of watches came out of here. And these are all handmade, little works of art, you know. Shall we go upstairs and have a look?
Sure.
Are you okay?
Yeah, I'll follow you up very slowly.
Yes, okay.
There you go.
Let's go up and have a look at the second floor. I think, is it on 3 levels,
3 levels.
Ron? Yes. Carpets are nice, yeah. Not lovely. Looks like original floorboards. They're not original.
There's lots of original.
Ah,
Yeah, a lot of original.
Look at the brickwork
yes.
with the changes. That's where the strong room was. It came out to about here.
Just here.
Yeah. There's the guys taking it out.
Yes. Wow.
And there's the hole in
So-
the floor, how thick the floor was.
So that bit there was here.
Yes. And there's the gate
Yeah.
that was outside the chub door. There's the hole in the floor
Yeah.
where you've seen all that stuff being put down.
Wow. Amazing.
3 months that took, because you couldn't use big jackhammers on it because those,
I suppose if you got locked in there and you haven't got a key.
forget it.
You toast.
Yeah,
Yes.
it was airtight as well.
Airtight as well. Oh my God.
Like to fight.
Yeah.
Put you in there.
So it came out to about here,
At least there, yeah.
at least here, and it took up these 2 walls here.
And there was 70 ton taken out of it. All that ceiling's been replaced because the ceiling was nearly 2 foot thick
Yeah.
above your what's name.
Wow.
Where was the area where you could see all the...
In these
I'm sure
things,
I just found
there were
some.
little wheels and little cogs and stuff like that. watches.
There's things like this here.
Which we
Oh, yes.
There's things that are
I've got pictures of that. I didn't take them out on purpose, but I've got original pictures, you know.
So if you look around, you'll see...
Along this wall here, were the benches.
Right.
Along this wall here were the original benches
Yeah.
for the Prescot Watch Company where they sat. And along the ceiling there were all the belt drives for the lathes going down to the... This was all given to the Prescot Museum. No,
Wow. Well, I've got a photo of that. I'm going to put a photo over the top of that to just illustrate what that would have been like. Because I noticed these windows here
Yeah.
in a row would have been ideal for watchmaking. And so I'm going to put that together with
That's exactly what they were for.
the sound that would have been created in this space.
We've done all this office on this office floor and kept it original. I had the foresight to keep it. That's all original
Yes.
with the Prescot.
So this was the office manager
the office.
of this
And
building.
The regulator that was in Prescot Museum, I don't know where it is now, maybe down, I don't know, stood there. But Gary's replaced all what was missing in this. He's redone the, what's the name, stripped all the walls, and there's like at least half a dozen coats on them bricks to get them looking like that.
So I'm presuming that buyers would come in up the stairs, talk to the manager.
You know, these are all original windows being taken back. There you go. And this is what you see there. The way it will be, all this gearing will go through under the stairs. It comes up there,
Yes.
which we'll cover with clear plastic. And the kids say that's the gearing for the clock outside, on the wall outside. And the kids, I intend to leave that clear with clear plastic type stuff or whatever they call it now. So the kids can see.
Perspex.
No, it's not Perspex.
Oh.
There's another name,
Oh, right.
which is, it's got to be for health and safety so it doesn't shatter them all.
Right.
But it will be magnificent when it's done. It's like sun and planet gears in a differential, you know. You're going up from there, you've got it again underneath. This will come from the clock, go through there and climb.
This is more of the same, what's on the second level, but I think this is magnificent, this floor. With the beams and everything. And a point of interest, I think I pointed it out to you last time, you know, the connection with the Lancashire Watchmaking Company.
Yes.
Is if we look through this window here, what do we see? That's the boss keeping an eye on his workers, for sure.
It is. It's an incredible view from that window.
How often do you see Prescot from this point of view?
Well, exactly. But
Everybody room number two.
But to see that is I'd never made that connection before with the watch factory there.
Yeah.
So that is that's amazing. But this is
Do you understand the shape of the building and why? It's the shape of the building when you see it from this perspective, from
Yeah.
inside,
Yeah.
from a historical value.
Absolutely.
The windows themselves, why they were chosen
Yeah.
that way
yeah,
for the workers, really.
yeah. It's incredible. Well, it's been great having a look around the flat iron. I'm sure many of you have wanted to know what it's like in there.
If anybody wants to look round, you can give me a ring and I'll show them round.
Okay, that's a really yeah. So you can message me at Born and Raised in Prescot, and I'll pass your details on to Ron. Well, thank you very much, and it's been a pleasure to look round and for you to show us.
No problem, anytime.
Thank you. Very much. Okay, wasn't that fascinating to have a look around the Flatiron building there? My initial thoughts, well, I think what the Musker family have done there is absolutely incredible. They've renovated it and converted the building for modern use. It still has many of the original fittings, the original floorboards, and the original feel of how it must have looked when it was first built in 1890. One of Prescot's most iconic buildings. I think it would be a magnificent museum, an asset to the town. And if only somebody like the National Museums and Galleries on Merseyside could get on board and support the the desire to make it into a museum, wouldn't that be a great thing? Wouldn't that be a great asset to the town? Perhaps we should start a petition or a campaign group to make it to make that dream come true, because I think it's certainly Ron's desire to do something really good with it, and you can tell that they are both passionate on the history of Prescot and watchmaking in particular. I think it's very poignant that I've come down to Pennington Gardens to do this roundup, because right behind me now is, of course, the old Lancashire Watch Company factory. Only a stone's throw from the Flatiron building. Now, all the time I've lived in Prescot, I've never made the connection between the two buildings, but now that connection has been made, and I see the building in a completely new light. So for that, I'm really grateful. Thanks for watching this video. I hope you've enjoyed it. I hope you've got something out of it and you've discovered something of the history of Prescot and the history of watchmaking. I hope you'll join us again for another video in the series on Prescot, a town of tiny workshops. It's very historical.